Before this video starts, I just want to thank Dino Ninja Shogun Dan for his continued support as a $20 patron. He was the one to come up with this idea, and if you guys want to have a video idea become a reality, go to the Patreon link in the description for more information. With that, let's get into the video. So with the December 2018 Yu-Gi-Oh! Banlist, we finally have Kozmo Dark Destroyer back at 3. And while this is definitely very good for the archetype, does that make it tier 1 or rogue at all? Well, in this episode of Deck Check, we're going to go over Kozmo post the December 2018 ban list. So to start, Kozmo Dark Destroyer is back at 3, which obviously is a very big deal, for Kozmo at least, considering that's an 11% increase in seeing Dark Destroyer in a 5-card opening hand. Kozmo Dark Destroyer has always been very good in being a non-targeting monster, being able to float into your lower level Kozmo monsters when destroyed by battle or card effect, and it doesn't matter if it's your card effect or not, which will be important in a second, and just overall is good at removing opponents' monsters. It can combo itself into any Kozmo you need at that moment, as Kozmo Dark Destroyer doesn't need to pop an opponent's monster, but instead can destroy any monster. So with that, Kozmo Dark Destroyer can pop itself, in turn special summoning any Kozmo from your deck. This can combo very well into Farm Girl during the battle phase in order to deal an additional amount of damage, and then search another Kozmo Dark Destroyer, for example, being able to add that to hand, special Dark Destroyer, and then attacking for more damage. In general, being able to destroy monsters on the field is very good, but as well, it can float, which might not seem as powerful, but when considering what Kozmos we have access to, for example, Dark Lady, we have access to Slip Rider, etc., Kozmo Dark Destroyer can float into some very powerful monsters. It's untargetable as well, making it very good against some of the best meta decks this format, for a key example being Sky Strikers. The fact that this card is untargetable by an opponent's card effects prevents it from being taken by a Widow Anchor, in turn making it very hard for Sky Strikers to deal with. And the issue is when they can deal with this card, that's when you just summon another Kozmo from your deck, and then from there you can keep applying more pressure with another Kozmo monster on the field, and it just ramps up from there. This deck is generically very good against Sky Strikers, and I feel like a control version of this deck is very powerful. But what is the better version, the control variant or the combo variant with True King's Diagram, etc.? And that's a very interesting question, because there are definitely different ways of playing this deck. You have the control variant, which relies heavily on traps, and then you have the combo variant, which is reliant on drawing a field spell that can pop a Kozmo in hand. These have been very good in the past, considering when we've had set rotation at 3, we've had a bunch of different combo variants that have been able to be proven successful. A good example of this is Fire King Island Kozmo being able to combo very hard back in the day. We've also had True Draco Kozmo Metal Foes, which has been another deck that was really good. Overall, Kozmos are a pretty good combo deck, considering how much advantage you get just off of Kozmos being able to be destroyed. As well, back in the day, you were able to set up set rotation, and if you activate that, set a diagram on your field, Kozmo Town on their field, then you can pop something to special Slip Rider, pop the Kozmo Town, and get you a search. Overall, it's been very powerful in the past. However, as of right now, I think the control variant is just superior. We have new cards like Trap Trick to play with, which can get you back to the front, it can get you impermanence, it has so much versatility, it's not even funny. Kozmo Tin Can is still a very good card. While not being the most reliant card, it's still very good, and overall, I think the control variant is just better because it's just able to control the game state more. The combo variant is good, but it can be very bricky at times, and if you don't draw your field spells that can pop your cards, then you're kind of in for a rough ride. The control variant is overall more consistent, and there are different ways of playing it. For example, you can go very trap heavy, you can play a demise variant, and overall there are just a lot of efficient ways of playing the deck. While this deck seems very promising at having a lot of benefits, for example the untargetable ships, etc., and that Kozmo Dark Destroyer is back at 3, there's an 11% increase in seeing Destroyer, which is actually pretty significant, there are some issues with this deck. For example, it has a terrible Thunder Dragon matchup. And the reason why I say this is because first off, Dark Destroyer doesn't do anything against the fusion monsters. Because of the fact they have that protection effect, Kozmo just really isn't good in that aspect. They have a terrible time actually dealing with them, considering there's no efficient way of removing them from the field. This deck also has a terrible matchup against that deck because Titan doesn't target target when it tries to destroy something. So if you just activate a Thunder Dragon in hand, Titan can activate its effect to pop the Dark Destroyer regardless of its targeting protection. Now yes, trap cards can definitely help deal with this strategy, however at the same time it's just not that great. I think if you were to play a Kozmo control variant, it might just be the artifact variant because of the fact that the artifacts can stop the Thunder Dragons from playing. As well, it just stops a lot of other decks in the format as well. Scythe is still a very powerful card and it can be used in combination with your Slip Rider. Now while Kozmo do have a good matchup against Sky Striker, Kozmo Dark Destroyer can't really deal with Raid that effectively, considering the fact that it'll just float from the graveyard. Usually you just have to beat over it. While it's not really that relevant, I thought that I'd just point that out. Kozmo Dark Destroyer isn't the greatest at dealing with monsters this format, however just the fact that it's untargetable and can deal with monsters still is pretty good. It can't deal with Borolo Dragon, which might come up, and just overall it's not that effective against a lot of meta decks. However, that doesn't change the fact that Kozmo Dark Destroyer is still very powerful, and overall I would say it going to 3 is definitely a big deal for Kozmo with that 11% increase in Scene Destroyer. However, it might not make as big of an impact as you think. I think in future formats this might be very potent. Kozmo just don't have as good of a matchup against all the meta decks as you think, and especially with the rise in Thunder Dragon popularity, I really think Kozmo aren't that great this format. And overall, while Destroyer at 3 does definitely help this strategy, the deck has definitely been power creeped quite immensely. However, that's not to say that it won't be as good in future formats, and I definitely feel like Kozmo Dark Destroyer at 3 will make an impact depending on how the rest of the meta goes from here on out. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Again, thank you to Dino Ninja Shogun Dan for his continued support as a $20 patron and suggesting this video idea. I hope he enjoys this, and I hope you guys enjoyed this as well. If you guys want to communicate with me and other amazing people, go down into the description and join my Discord server. It's an awesome time being there, and I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope to see you guys there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Leave down in the comment section your thoughts and opinions on Kozmo post the December 2018 ban list. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Deck Check, and with that, I'll see you guys soon.